Welcome, everyone, to the MMA Happy Hour. I am Kyle Anthony, your host, where today we are talking UFC Vegas 96. We've got Kyle Borralho versus Jared Cannonier. We're going to be breaking down 4 plays here on the show. Before we dive into everything, give this a thumbs up. Come on, subscribe if you have not, and also let me know who you got in the main event. And because you want to know why I'm telling you this? Because we have another profitable evening last weekend at UFC 305. Once again, profiting. I was in Florida enjoying my time, and nice to cash another 5% max play. Now, this year, we are 10-0 on max plays. Unbelievable. #1 return on investment capper out of all sports at Wagertalk. 27% return on investment. Out of the 26 UFC events, we've cashed 21 of them. So it's been really a fantastic year, seeing the board great, continuing to move forward each and every week. And it's great to celebrate, but we're already on to this event this week. I don't want to, dive too much into last weekend because it's over. We've got that money in our bankroll and we're ready to fire this weekend. So I do have a 4% best bet play up, link down in the description if you would want to become a client. And, with that being said, let's dive in. Let's dive into the main event of the evening between Kyle Borralho and Jared Cannonier. Now, we got Borralho here. He's minus 245 on the comeback. You've got Jared Cannonier plus 190. Now, looking at this fight here, we've got Kyle, who is definitely a rising talent in the UFC, 16-1 overall, really high-level grappler. We know what he's going to do there. On the other side here, you've got Jared Cannonier, UFC vet. The guy has high-level experience and does have a lot of power and striking when it comes to that. But there's definitely going to be, no doubt here. There's no doubt what we all are going to expect out of Borralho here. We know his main path is going to be wrestling. He's going to look to push forward. He's going to look to really kind of, control the distance, cut that distance, cage push, get some takedowns. And that's really his path. He's got high-level jiu-jitsu. So if he gets his fight to the ground, very good at, transitions, reversals, controlling position, and then submission hunting on top of that overall. He's coming off a nice second-round knockout victory over Paul Craig. Paul Craig is Paul Craig, but he did go out there and get that victory. Now, on the other side here, you've got Jared Cannonier. And the thing about Cannonier, in this spot, which I do think can make this fight a little bit closer than I think this line is kind of indicating. Money consistently is coming in on Borralho here, and I get it. I definitely understand it. But, this fight on the feet here, Jared is going to be the better striker. The guy definitely has the power, has the range. All of that, I think, is pretty solid when you're looking at him there. But then you look on the other side here, Cannonier also does have good takedown defense. And I think that actually is going to be somewhat of a difference maker in this spot compared to some of the people that, Borralho has had to fight. This is absolutely going to be a step up. Jared Cannonier, definitely a guy, 40 years old now. You've got Kyle, who's now 31, entering his prime, definitely consistently getting better and better overall. But, Kyle was 6-0 in the UFC. And, that's great. And it definitely, the guy has definitely shown his ability there. But, beating guys like Mikhail Olenjaychuk, Abus Magomedov, Paul Craig, these guys have holes all over their game. I don't really, really rate some of these guys. Or that's why we've been fading Olenjaychuk so much. And, Abus, I'm not that very high on him overall. And, you combine the last 3 opponents for Kyle and you combined it. These guys are 2-7. So it's just these guys have not had to face these high-level guys. It definitely, this is a step up. And I think that's why this fight can be close when you're looking at it. Now, on the other side here, Jared is a guy that's faced top-level guys since 2017. The guy has had, faced all over. We're talking elite level fighters, has had mixed results, but definitely has shown some success all over in his career. Never getting the title, but has definitely been up there with some of the best. Now, one of the big red flags here definitely is the age. That's definitely going to be something here when you're talking this wide of an age, definitely is going to be something here. But I do think that the fact that this is at the Apex cage and it's going to definitely help Kyle cut at that distance, get his hands on Cannonier, get those takedowns, really get that control time, cage push, work him when he can, bank some rounds when he can. But you definitely have someone like Jared, who I think that, is definitely a strong guy. And I think that's going to make some of these clinches, some of these opportunities where both these guys are kind of going at it, is going to be tough. And I think that he can create some distance. He can, kind of really battle Kyle when he's up against the fence and defend some of these takedowns. Now, Kyle's going to sell out. He's going to push. He's going to push. He's going to mix it up. He's definitely another guy who's big for the division, strong guy overall. But when you're looking at it, I think that definitely Cannonier's experience is going to showcase here a little bit and going to make it a little bit more tighter. And also the fact that, Jair's not an easy guy to put away. He is definitely not an easy guy to put away. When you're looking at it, out of his 7 career losses, 4 by decision, 3 by knockout. And he is coming off a recent knockout loss against Nasruddin Imavov, which was a client play. We bet Imavov in that spot. But not only the fact that he lost that fight and so-called knocked out, it was a early stoppage a little bit. Although I was happy about it, I was definitely happy that stoppage happened, because Nasruddin, I thought, was gassing a little bit. But when you look at it, that knockout, early stoppage. But prior to that knockout, the last time that Jared Cannonier was knocked out was back in 2018 against Dominic Reyes. So it's been a while since this guy's even been knocked out, finished, and also the fact he's never been submitted in his career. So I do think that does speak to his takedown defense, his ability to, even in bad positions, control his opponent a little bit, play safe, survive. And I think that's kind of what could happen here, where Kyle is going to have some success. He's going to have positional success there, but I do think there's going to be spots here where Cannonier is going to find some success as well, or at least defensively find opportunities to get through the rounds and not get finished. So this is the spot here where Kyle, he's 6-0 in the UFC, 2 finishes against guys lower level who don't have the credentials of Jared Cannonier. So in this spot here, I do like Borralho, but I do like him via points. It's plus 210. That's a juicy number. You guys know me. I'm always looking for that plus money. Always looking for those angles, not just looking at, take 2 big favorites, smash them together, 2 biggest favorites on the card, smash them together. We're looking for value. We're looking for the edge. We're looking for find opportunities, place our money in strong position. And I do believe this is strong value here in the main event. So I'm taking Kyle Borralho via points plus 210. Now, the next fight here we are going to be talking about is going to be Edmen Shahbazyan here. He is minus 300 versus Gerald Meerschaert. And GM3 here, big dog. And you got Shahbazyan a minus 300 favorite here. And, I get it. Edmen Shahbazyan is a guy that is explosive, high-level striker overall. And you've got Meerschaert, who really, is at 36 years old, never really hit that high level of fighting. But he does have that high-level grappling. And I think that is an interesting dynamic, to this fight. I do believe that overall. You look at, Edmen's stats overall, he's got 13 pro victories, 11 of which are by knockout, 1 by submission. So this guy here is going to go out there and he's going to look for those finishes and he's going to really control it. He definitely has slick combinations, high level when it comes to his kicking arsenal. The guy is, with distance, he definitely has good range. And those are a lot of the things that I think can work for him in this spot. I think Gerald is a guy that does not have good striking. He's really probably going to sell out for the takedowns here. He can't just stand and throw with Shahbazyan. I think he's going to struggle big time when you look at it. But also the fact that, Edmen will have that big advantage when you're talking about the striking, but Gerald is going to have a big advantage on the ground. Now, it's easier said than done for him to look for those takedowns and get that opportunity to kind of work it. Because I do think if he gets, if he gets Edmen down once, the fight could be over. That's the difference when you're talking about these 2 guys and how good Gerald Meerschaert is on the mat. And you look at it, 36 victories for Meerschaert and 28 by submission. So that's his high win probability. That's his path. That's how he's going to find success here overall. And the thing for me with the Shahbazyan side at this number, and again, it's about the number, is the fact that he's got holes. He's another guy's got holes in his game. And for this big of a favorite here, it does worry me here when you're looking at this kind of number and a juicy plus 240 number on the other side here. And the first thing here for Shahbazyan is that he's a front runner. This guy is, first round or almost bust if he doesn't get the finish. And, again, you look at it here, 12 finishes, 11 came in the first round. So this is a guy that is going to look for that finish. He's going to push quickly. He's going to push early. And that is an opportunity for him. And he is a great hammer. Like if he can start really rocking a guy, pushing forward, seeing the other opponent get hurt a little bit, he's going to really start to pick it up and look for that finish and go for that kill, because he's got that killer instinct in that first round and does have that high level striking. But he's a bad nail. We have seen him where, some of these wrestlers, and he's facing a grappler here, but some of these wrestlers who are going to push forward and smother the striking. Really, you just see Edmen kind of wilt. You see him struggle. You see him want to give up. You see him not have answers when he's on his back. And that could open up opportunities here for GM3 in this spot. You got Shahbazyan here. He's 2-4 out of his last 6. So it's not that he's, running through guys. He has struggled a lot. Plus, you look at the 2 victories here, Dolce Lingambua, who is 0-4 run right now, and he also beat AJ Dodson, who's on a 1-3 run. So he has beaten low-level guys who are willing to kind of stand there and throw, and that has worked for him because that's really his win probability, is just standing and throwing and really having a glorified kickboxing match compared to an MMA fight where there's grappling and you can get taken down. I think he struggles with that big time. I think it's obvious to everybody, I think, at this particular point. And the 2 other big red flags, I think, that are also on Edmen is going to be the fact he's got shit cardio. I mean, he's got really bad cardio, and I think that again speaks to these first rounds. I feel like he redlines it. I think he pretty much knows, man, after that first 5-6 minutes, things start to really tilt down. I mean, you can tell by his movement, his striking, the power, everything starts to go down. Even his takedown defense completely gets washed away once this fight just kind of gets into that second round. And this could also almost be like a live betting opportunity, that if he doesn't get sparked out in that first round, he could look for that second and third round to either find a submission or at least bank those next 2 rounds, because I think that Edmen really struggles after that. And then you add on the fact that, cardio isn't good, but also, takedown defense 63%. But if there is a takedown, Edmen's in trouble. Edmen probably is going to lose the fight. I think that it could be a one and done, because Gerald is going to latch onto something, find control, and look and hunt for that submission. And if the cardio starts to really go down, in that second round, just going to make him easier for GM3 to get the takedowns here. So in this spot here, I think this line is too wide here, too many holes for Edmen. And I do think that Gerald does have a shot here to get it done. So I do like this plus number here. GM3 plus 240 will be the pick. Now, the next one here we're going to be talking about is going to be Borshchev minus 235 versus Llontop plus 180. Now, we've got Borshchev here, high-level kickboxer. The guy's the coach for Team Alpha Male. And then your side here, you've got Llontop, 25 years old, who does have, has displayed just, pretty good striking overall. Now, this line feels wide to me. And there's a couple reasons here, but this line does feel wide. And I think, yes, Borshchev is a high-level striker. The guy, another guy kicking arsenal, someone at range can really, kind of get into his rhythm and find a lot of success there. But you also got to look at it. I mean, he really hasn't done well flat out in his MMA career. I mean, he's 7-4-1 in his MMA career. He's 1-3-1 over his last 5. And it's just not that. I just haven't seen that much from him. Plus, if you look over his last 2 fights, he has taken a shit ton of damage over those last 2 fights. Nasruddin Saliakov, who was losing and then almost finished him, and took a lot of damage going on in that fight there. And then you also look at the Chase Hooper fight. Now, the Chase Hooper fight is one that I think is a big cause for concern on the Borshchev side, and I think it's for multiple reasons. I think the one is the fact that Chase Hooper dropped Borshchev. And I think that is as bad as it gets for a guy who's supposed to be the, striking coach for a gym, gets, dropped by Chase Hooper. And yes, it could be a mix, because Chase Hooper, he's got the, very high level of grappling, and could Borshchev have been, very, very, worried about that, and maybe was kind of defending the takedown, and all of a sudden he throws a hook. Possible. But anyway, you look at it, even, Saliakov, the fight before, dropped him. So I think it starts to speak to a little bit about, is there a durability concern? Is there a chin concern? Does he have an iffy chin? That could be the issue as well. But also the fact that Chase Hooper gave Borshchev a beating of a life. And that he just beat the living shit out of him. And, it was 62-3 on strikes. He got the takedown, beat the hell out of him, then got the finish. That fight probably could have been stopped multiple times in that fight. And Borshchev was getting slaughtered throughout it. But you look at it, that fight was 3 months ago. And to me, that is a problem when you're facing another guy like Llontop who can throw, will throw heat. And I think that could open up opportunities for him to find a lot of success as well. And if he has a durability issue, as in Borshchev, or he has a little bit of a chin issue, that could really, again, if he lands a shot, we have seen him drop back-to-back fights against guys who are not the highest level of strikers. And now I think Llontop can come in there and possibly find success. But also the fact that Borshchev does he wants space. He wants to work at space. He wants to utilize the kickboxing. He wants to be able to utilize all that. And that is an interesting part here because Llontop is going to crash the pocket. He's going to move forward. He's going to throw heat. He's not going to want to stand at distance and have a pretty fight. In the apex cage again, smaller cage, I think that could open up opportunities here for Llontop to kind of land some big shots, move forward. And with the iffy durability that Borshchev may have, and the fact that his willingness to exchange on the feet, I think, again, opens up opportunities for Llontop, especially at this plus 185 number. And also, Llontop's 7 years younger, and I do like that as well, where he's kind of a rising guy here. And you've got Borshchev, 7-4-1. I just really haven't seen much for him. The path could be there for Llontop also to look for takedowns. And we have seen, Borshchev taken down by like a gust of wind. I mean, this guy can be taken down, and once he's down, he's down. And I think Llontop isn't a guy that's really going to sell out for takedowns, but I think he can mix it up. I think if this is a smart enough game plan and he's game planning for Borshchev, you got to absolutely mix those in. You have to. And I think that's going to be something here that he can look to move forward. Apex cage being smaller, looking for some takedowns. And again, even if he doesn't get them, I like him mixing them in just to offer different looks to Borshchev that will start to worry about that, knowing that how bad his grappling is can open up opportunities here. What is he, 30-something% takedown defense on Borshchev. But I think that, again, once he's down, he's down. Could land the big shots here, but mixing in the iffy chin, the beating that he took, which I think is a big part of this as well from Chase Hooper here. I do like the plus money again here on Llontop. It's plus 185. I'm taking that as a spot. I like it. Next one here we're going to talk about is going to be Michael Morales versus Neil Magny. Now, holy shit, he's minus 900. Now, I'm not going to dive into this one too much here, but money has absolutely poured in on Michael Morales. And there's another spot where I get it. I 100% get it. Michael Morales, 16-0, another young rising talent. Kid's got power. He's explosive. He has ability to be, well-rounded. He's got a finishing upside here. He's a strong kid, and he's just going to keep getting better. You got Neil Magny where, he's at the end of his career. The guy really has not looked great overall, but you do have to look at the fact that he is 3-2 over his last 4. And that does, again, he's sneakily winning some of these here. And I know the Mike Mallet fight, which was a fight that he was losing the entire fight and just kind of just kept pushing forward and found success and was able to kind of go out there, find success, push forward. And that's the big weapon for Neil Magny is going to be his cardio. He can really weaponize that cardio. He can really push forward. He can really utilize that, lean on you. This is a spot here where I think if he cage pushes, holds him up against the fence, the strength advantage will go to Morales. I do think that's going to be a situation there. But Neil Magny is crafty. And, when you're talking about just in the clinch, he's, his experience level is going to be far, far ahead of Michael Morales overall. And the other part here is that, Neil Magny has faced high-level guys throughout his career, again at the end of his career, but throughout his career. And Morales is a guy who really, he's getting wins. You got to give him that. He's getting those victories. but he hasn't, another guy who just hasn't faced anyone of high level. But not only that, some of these fights, where it's smash spots for Morales, and he's having some iffy moments. He's having some. You can tell that he is a little green in certain spots where the kid, I think, is just going to consistently get better. But you do see there are holes in his game, and he beat Adam Fugit. I don't rate him very much at all. But then the two fights against Max Griffin and Jake Matthews. I mean, the Jake Matthews fight was another spot, a smash spot for him. You thought they would throw and this whole thing. And, yes, he won. But again, it's a spot where, he didn't get the finish in either of those two fights. He didn't even get a knockdown out of those two fights against Max Griffin and Jake Matthews. I think that is a little bit of concern here, that there wasn't any of that power maybe wasn't there. And I think that now he's starting to face tougher guys and not able to just go out there and run through some of these guys. And you've got a crafty vet like Neil Magny. I think he can find opportunities there overall, weaponizing that cardio, moving forward, and really utilizing that. And you also look at this number here. Neil Magny plus 600 is roughly implied probability of about 14%. And that is, I think, kind of low in this spot here. I mean, listen, I do believe that, Michael Morales has a very high probability of winning this, of course. But when you're talking about paying minus 900 or parlaying this fucking guy or whatever it is, I don't see it. I just don't see it here. I think this is worth a very, very small little sprinkle on Neil Magny here. And I just think that there are opportunities for him to get this victory here, or at least make it somewhat competitive. Because if there's one competitive, if that first round's somewhat competitive, you already know that you're making the right call. At this minus 900 number, he should absolutely run through Neil Magny in that first round, dominate, control, rip through him. And I don't really think that's going to happen here. So I do think there will be competitive moments here, and I do think this line is wide. So I will take Neil Magny plus 600. Small sprinkle, guys. Small sprinkle. So there you have it for my plays for UFC Vegas 96. If you want to become a client, link down in the description. And we're going to keep it rolling. Like I said, 26 events, cash 21 of them this year. We have fucking destroyed the bookies, up over 76 units this year. And again, it's about placing our money in strong positions. We're not looking to just have fun. This is a fucking business. Let's catch.